Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Manual Font Show. It is now episode 184. It is Tuesday. Thank you all for jumping on and hearing me bullshit for however long this is going to be. Um, Hopefully you guys have had a good Monday, though. I will say, hopefully you guys have had a good Monday. Also, what really annoys me is, and this is not exactly like exclusive, like every couple or every one of you out there. There are certain people that just automatically assume that just that that y- you know where to, if you have kids, like you automatically are able to get rid of them, for events. Like they get really upset if you do that type of stuff. Like we're going out to X place, and we were, hopefully, want you guys to go, blah, 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 all this stuff. And they give you somewhat of a notice, but not really. And you're just kind of like, okay, well, I can't just do that right now. And then they get pissy. You never want to do anything, blah, blah, blah. You know who the fuck you are. Listen, you it's not like we don't want to go as parents. It's just that we can't magically make our lives, or fit around your life. I know you don't have children, right? And you have all the freedom in the world, and this is your choice, blah blah. Yeah, yeah. But there are people out there that like being parents. They love having kids. They love sharing their knowledge with others and leaving a legacy and moving things on into the future. And unfortunately, they just can't make children disappear. It's like, where do you want us to put these fucking things? These fucking kids. Like, where do you want them to go? Do we just wave a wand and then just poof, they're gone? Like we can just stuff them under the blankets and we're good. Like then we can go on with our day. Like we can't do that. And I just wish that there was some consideration. That's all. Just have some consideration. Like if you were going to go somewhere, and this individual has children, then you might want to give them an extra week or so to try to get the thing to work, right? Just, oh, we're going tomorrow, man. Let's do it. It's like it just doesn't work that way, and it's very sad that there are people out there that do that. You know who you are, and I hope you change. I just hope you give us normal people with lives and responsibilities and things to be accountable for. I just hope that you give us that opportunity, like going to be an extra week or whatever. I don't know, something of that nature. It'd be cool though. It'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to go and get hammered at the bar with you and fall over and not remember what day it is and then come back to my real life. Yeah, I would love to sit there and just go, with whatever income I might have that's disposable against your gigantic mountain of cash. And I would love to just, go to some safari in Africa. Sure, let's do that. But not it would be great, but no, it's impossible. I just wish you guys had a little bit more consideration out there. And you know who you are, and if you have, you know, issues with what I said, then by all means, comment down below. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear how it's my fault for choosing to have children, and it's my fault for choosing to put my money where it is, and you can't blame me for wanting to live my life the way I do, and sucks to be you if you can't go. And no, I don't have to give you a proper notice. You either get rid of your kids or you don't, and blah blah blah. Yeah, I know. I get it, guys. I get it. I get where the comments would go. I get that there will be a couple of you fuckers out there, but I stand by it. I stand by it. I just do. Listen, let's get into this. We're going to talk some video games, some movies, and we're going to kick this Tuesday off with something that's not of any of that. So this is Newsweek. A missing teen girl was found alive 2 weeks after going to meet someone online. Her name is Katie Hong. She's 16 years old. She's from Fremont, California. She was found safe after missing for nearly 2 weeks. She disappeared on July 25th, leaving behind a note indicating she planned to run away to meet someone she knew only through online screen contact. Fremont police launched a search immediately after receiving the missing persons report at 8:55 p.m. on the day of her disappearance. Authorities fear she may have been lured by potentially dangerous people. No shit. So there was somebody with some fancy typewriting that convinced this 16-year-old child to run away with him. And oddly enough, she did it because she was promised probably anything and everything in the world. So let's take a deeper run into this. Now I'm curious as shit. Okay, the note indicated that Hong's online contact would not provide their real name. According to police officials, said it does not appear that Hong met these people prior to her disappearance. She was seen on multiple surveillance cameras walking alone from her residence to Irvington Community Park, a location referenced in the note. Police said she was wearing a red backpack and carrying what appeared to be a computer. The Fremont Police Department Crimes Against Persons Unit, because we have that, which is good. Fremont has one of those crimes against people unit. Isn't all crime against some person for the most part? It's weird to have a different bureaucratic division in Fremont, but whatever. Multiple search warrants and court orders in connection with the case. The last recorded location of her phone was at the park. Investigators believe she left the phone there. Officials said Hong was active on various digital platforms, including gaming platforms. After her disappearance, investigators were able to locate her digital footprint left directly by her. Police said she was believed to be voluntarily missing, but at risk based on current circumstance. Hong's family publicly sought assistance as the search continued, getting a GoFundMe to help cover the legal costs, counseling for Hong's sister, and daily living expenses. I love how, again, I talked about this GoFundMe thing, not, earlier, other episode, yeah. I talked about GoFundMe in prior episodes, and I just think these are money grabs. I mean, okay, legal costs, I'm with you. Mental health counseling, okay. Daily living expenses, go fuck yourself. You got to figure out how to do that shit on your own. I'm sorry. 70 grand. I don't know. Since she has returned, we feel that it would be more appropriate to return your donations back to you. We are simply grateful that she is home safe and unharmed. A relative of James Hong said in a GoFundMe update. At least okay, I'm with you. At least they're kind enough to say, here's your money back. We got what we wanted. We don't really need this stuff. Okay, that's good. On X, the Fremont police have said, we are relieved to share that the missing juvenile, Katie Hong, has been located this afternoon. She is unharmed and safe, pending to be reunited. We are grateful. But where did they find her at, though? That's what I want to know. More details will be shared as they become available, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, okay. I really do want to know exactly how she was found, where she was found, etc., etc. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of our episode here. This is from Movie Web. Warner Brothers has confirmed how many of their DC movies will be released every year, because we need to fucking know how much of this nonsense we get to watch. Right now, I think Superman has yet to hit 600 million. Another, considering in a DC, probably another Warner Brothers comic book flop. Because if it's not making at least 800 million, no one gives a shit. They call it a loss every single time. I don't understand it. If your budget's 200, your marketing's at least 200, it's 400, you make 600. I mean, it's $200 million win. But I guess it's not a big enough win, so a lot of these guys will sit there and be like, fuck all that. We lost money or something. I don't get it, but whatever. If you know this shit a lot deeper than I do, by all means, let me know in the comments about these movies and what is a flop, what isn't a flop. But until then, that's just my opinion. So Warner Brothers says they will release 1 to 2 movies a year, aiming to avoid superhero fatigue, which is something that is happening in Marvel because they spent, a decade or more producing like 3 or 4 films a year and then putting out, 3 or 4 TV shows once Disney Plus launched, and they just kept throwing it in your face and they kept trying to continue the stories. And I think the failure of Marvel it was absolutely after Endgame. That Endgame, I hit $2.6 billion. Like they were on top at that point. And what began the downfall is, where do we go from here? We just spent 10 years doing the coolest storytelling ever with over 30 films. Now, where do we go from here? How do we continue? And rather than just be like, you know what, let's do standalone films now. We don't really need to continue, these characters into another saga. I don't think that's warranted right now. I think in a few years, that way we give ourselves a break, and then maybe, 3 or 4 years down the road, then we can start working on the multiverse saga, which is what they are attempting to do, and kind of go in that direction later. And you can do a clean break, and then you can kind of recast some characters and retell those stories, because no comic book character ever dies. It's all second act anyway. And I think they could have been able to continue the steamroll, the genre and make a couple of bucks every single time. But they chose not to do that. They just kept pounding away at it, and eventually it just went south. But they did have some hits, right? Deadpool Wolverine was 1.3 billion. Then you got 998 million with Doctor Strange. Then you hit with Spider-Man. That one hit $1 billion. I think 1.1 billion. So I mean, there was some hits after Endgame, but then there's just been a string of losses, and a lot of it, I think, is that they should have taken a break. They should have pulled back a little bit. But they thought, everybody would keep seeing them, and pandemic or not, it doesn't matter. People just got tired, and then some of the choices did not help. Like the Eternals, it's a book that not many people are into, but they thought that would help. I don't think changing Captain America was an issue. I think that story in the timeline that they're trying to put it in is trying to explain what happened in Eternals, and I don't think it translated, because you were trying to do this with Kang the Conqueror, and that fell through due to legal issues, and then you try to pivot, and then you need to explain how those issues move into this, and it just didn't mesh, and not many people understood nor cared about what was going on in the Eternals to really go like, oh, that makes sense. But that's just a story arc that I just think didn't work. And then obviously advertising was bad, because there's no reason to market the Red Hulk with it as an opener, and you just kill it because you're telling us the movie. I think they should have just had the Red Hulk as undiscussed in the background, not a part of the marketing, and then you just hit it, and then everybody would want to see it at that point. Be like, oh shit, how's the Red Hulk into this? And then you get it from there. But they didn't do that. That's just my take on it. If you guys have a different take on Marvel's demise, by all means, leave it in the comments below. But according to DC and Warner Brothers, 1 or 2 movies a year. They want to completely be different from Marvel. Marvel is now about 3 movies a year, so you get the beginning, the middle, and the end of the year. the studio is they're saying that they're doing this because they're learning from Marvel's oversaturation and intends to maintain quality and audience interest. Reviews of the recent Superman film suggest audiences' appreciations with more measured pace. Next year, they plan on releasing Supergirl, um, and then they plan on doing a Clayface horror film, which is interesting, and the Green Lanterns HBO series. I am probably going to watch Clayface. I want to see that horror film. That looks interesting as shit, actually. James Gunn and Peter Safran are cautious about announcing release dates until projects reach pre-production. Some planned projects have been canceled or shelved, including the Waller series and other James Gunn films that weren't titled. Um, but I think it's a good idea. I think it's a decent strategy. Um, but I think they need to figure out how to get their writing a little bit better than what it's been, because there's been two films. Nobody cared. No, for some reason everybody forgot Blue Beetle existed, but there are two films that James Gunn has put out, which is Blue Beetle, which was a heavy Hispanic centered film, which is fine, to display that culture and the character's connection with it, and go down that road. But it's amazing that we don't even acknowledge this movie. James Gunn is like, what movie? I don't know what we're talking about. I just think it's interesting because that was supposed to be the start of DCU, was Blue Beetle, and it did so bad because no one cares about Blue Beetle. Just as a character, as a comic book, there's no major market in film for that. But I think that's the live and learn part, because then now he decided his next theatrical would be Superman, and he worked on it. And now Superman's not a terrible film, but you can totally see the way James Gunn writes it's not everybody's Superman as they remember, I guess. And I did a whole review on Superman, so I'm not going to get into that. But the films that are independent of that, like the Batman film, that's not DCU Batman, but that Batman I think did very well, even though it was 3 hours. And I think the second one's going to do equally well. I think the Penguin TV series did well, and I think that is probably going to end up being the fan favorites of the DC movies. I don't think that they're going to get a whole lot out of the Joker anymore. I think that's done. And we'll see where it goes. I mean, what do you guys? I mean, you guys, by all means, let me know where you think this is about to go. I think Supergirl is gonna basically crash and burn. If I could predict one thing. Um, this is from the Independent. AMC Theaters is in a U-turn on latest decision after backlash. So what happened here, guys? AMC recently struck a deal with National Cinemedia to add more ads before their films, including a platinum spot right before the movie starts. This led to a disclaimer on AMC's website saying that the films would begin 25 to 30 minutes after advertisements. Moviegoers voiced a strong criticism online, questioning why they should pay to sit through half an hour of ads. In response, AMC is reportedly reconsidering its pre-show length, though there's been no specific changes being confirmed. Executives at major studios were upset that AMC continued showing its branded pre-show in addition to new ads, causing further delays. Some viewers vowed to arrive late to avoid trailers and commercials altogether, undermining the traditional theater experience. This was something that was talked about a while ago. I can't remember what episode I did this, where AMC was floating the idea of putting commercials in with the trailers and making it a complete 30-minute block of advertising. And I get why AMC is trying to do this. They're losing money like it ain't nobody's business because of the lack of attendance to an AMC theater. So you see slight increase in prices and such. And now they're thinking about selling ad space. This is going to further deteriorate their business. No one's going to go to an AMC theater knowing that they have to watch 30 minutes of garbage. But I understand it. It's about survival, and they're not getting the percentages from the movie. The movie theater is not getting the percentages from the production companies, or just in general, just from the movie companies in general. Not just production, just in general. And I think that not getting this revenue is making the pivot, but I think it's going to be the downfall. Maybe they should. I don't know how high you can raise, pricing. I think maybe the ticket price can go up a little bit. That might be a little better idea than flooding ad space and making you sit through 30 minutes. I've had that experience at a movie theater where I was just watching commercial after commercial after commercial, and I was just kind of like, should I have even shown up this early? But it happens, and I understand it, and I'm not mad at it, and I don't think anybody should be, because everybody's just trying to survive. You just plan accordingly is the best as I can say. I'm not sure what you guys' opinions on it. You probably like, this is bullshit. But let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Should it be this way? Should it not? I don't know, man. Everybody's just trying to get through it. Let's get into this. Outrun Gaming, whatever website this shit is. Bye-bye, Bungie. PlayStation to absorb the Marathon Studio. What? Sony has acquired Bungie for $3.6 billion in 2022, initially promising operational independence. As of August of 2025, Sony's chief financial officer, Lin Tao, confirmed Bungie is being fully absorbed into PlayStation Studios, ending its independent status. Bungie's upcoming game Marathon faced delays and controversy. Originally slated for September of 2025, now delayed indefinitely. Accusations of art theft surfaced in May of 2025, involving assets copied from artist Anti-Real. Bungie confirmed the use of unauthorized art by a former employee. Bungie has seen major staff departures as well from this. The Marathon director, Chris Barrett, who is pursuing legal claims over unpaid funds. Layoffs in July of 2024 affected 17% of staff, further stalling development of the game. Sony is expanding its live service portfolio to include Helldivers 2, Major League Baseball, Gran Turismo 7. I didn't even know Gran Turismo was still out. I didn't even. Wow. Okay, you Sony guy. I am not a Sony game fan at all. I'm just not. I think that their games are visually unwatchable. I think that the gameplay is shit. I am not a fan of the system in general. It's load times. It's just the controllers are very much aesthetically annoying to look at, as just as much as the feel of it. I'm just not a Sony. I just can't. It just the I feel like Microsoft has a better graphical appeal than Sony does. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Microsoft is a computer company. I know they're more software than anything, but Sony is just, they've never been able to capture the visuals. Everything is either too bright or too sharp, or not as, the colors are just dull, or sometimes they're missing limbs, come in, come out. They're it's just not the same. But when I watch anything on an Xbox, everything to me, I mean, is visually appealing. The light, the lights sources are right. The body parts don't disappear. Um, the animations are flawless. The colors are normal looking to me. I cannot get through a fucking video game on a Sony PlayStation. It can be the exact same game that I may have played on an Xbox, but on Sony, it just looks dead to me. And I just can't get my eyes to adjust to it, and I just can't get into the game at the same time. And a lot of the games that they put out, when you read the synopsis and then you sit there and you play some of it, as I've done through like, you know, going to a video game store and testing a game, or somebody or some friend or a relative will have a fucking Sony and I'll be playing it, or and I'm just demoing some of it, and I'm just like, I can't do this. A lot of the games that they put out themselves, like Helldivers and Gran Turismo and things like that go through their Sony publishing arm. These fucking things, the stories are just trash. Like, I cannot. It doesn't. If the story doesn't grab you, like a Gears of War would, for example, there's no way I'm gonna finish the game or play it in general. Of course, this is acknowledged. Back to the article, they acknowledge the transition, emphasizing the need for smoother and less wasteful development. They anticipate greater impact from the tariffs in quarter 2 of 2025, prompting a more cautious financial outlook. But if I remember correctly, Bungie also produced what's that Xbox game? The Sony Halo. My goodness. I think Bungie also did Halo for a little bit until Sony bought it, which then just then prompted Microsoft to have that Halo going in, somewhere else. So, which is kind of hilarious because Sony, it's funny that Sony went and did this, and Microsoft did not get upset about this. But the minute Microsoft decided to purchase, I believe it was Activision, the makers of Call of Duty, that's when Sony threw the lawsuit out there because they were going to lose revenue. But there's been no lawsuit over the Bungie sale. I find that shit very funny. I find it hilarious. But again, I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about this. Does this game marathon? Does anybody give a fuck whether or not this marathon shit is worth it? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. That is it. See you guys tomorrow. Appreciate each and every one of you. Like it, share it, and subscribe to it. And until next time.